Hare Krishna. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devyam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandaraya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadigaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, you are welcome for continuity of our Bhakti Vedanta study of 8th canto of Srimad Bhagvatam.
Recording in progress.
We are discussing chapter 9, Mohini Murti, incarnation of Supreme Lord, bewildering the Asuras or the Daityas and distributing the nectar which was produced from churning of the milk ocean to the demigods. And we have discussed the first section, the Daitya Asura addressing Mohini Murti, and the second section, 9 and 10 verses, Mohini Murti answering to them. Now, the third section from verse number 11 to 23, Mohini Murti delivers the nectar to the Devatas. So we are starting this section. So we are now quite clear that how many jewels came out from churning of the milk ocean and how many ways Supreme Lord has assisted and helped the both parties in producing nectar. And the Sadharma Stapna, are establishing the right religious principle, which is the elder meaning for Manvantra. In this episode is when everything is accomplished by the mercy and advice, inspiration and assistance of Supreme Lord, then whatever comes out of that endeavor has to be distributed. Sarvadana, Sarva, all, Dana, given, to be given in charity. So now the last thing which is going to be given in charity by Supreme Lord Mohini Murti to the demigods. So Srila Shuka Uvacha, verse number 11. Iti te shveli tai tasya. Shveli means the demons were considering the two verses of Mohini Murti as joke. Shveli tai means just like joke, speaking as if joking. Tasya ashvasta manasos asura. Asura means the Daityas. Their mind was ashvasta, means they were ashvasta, grateful with faith. They were passive, they were ashvasta, grateful with faith. Manasa, their mind. Asura, Jahasur bhava gambhiram. Jahasur means they left. Jahasur, left. Bhava gambhira, although Mohini Murti was full of gravity. What she said was truth, but they thought it is a joke. So they left, and after laughing, Dadu, they gave. Cha Amrit, the part of nectar. Bhajanam. Amrit Bhajanam is a one word, which means the container of the nectar. Sri Sutta Goswami continued, after the demon heard the words of Mohini Murti, who had spoken as if joking. It was not joking, but as if joking. They were all very confident, ashvasta. They left with gravity, and ultimately they delivered the container of nectar into her hands. Sukadeva Goswami said their minds comforted. They are swasta mano. Their mind comforted by the joking words of Mohini, tasya shvalitahi. The demon left in a mysterious manner. Asura jahaus bhav gambhiram, and delivered the container of nectar to her. Srila Prabhupada writes, the person regarded in the form of Mohini was certainly not joking but talking seriously. Prabhupada is taking gambhira as a serious, with gravity. The last one, bhava gambhira. So Mohini Murti was seriously and talking with gravity. But Jivan, however, being captivated by Mohini Murti's bodily feature, took her words as a joke. So the shwalaitai, joke, and confidently ashwasta, delivered the container of nectar into her hands. Thus Mohini Murti resembled, now Prabhupada is giving a similar statement in Srimad Bhagvatam, first canto, third chapter, verse 24, about the incarnation of different 24 incarnation of Supreme Lord. Thus Mohini Murti resembled Lord Buddha, who appeared samohaya sura vishdvesham, to cheat the asuras. Samoha means to bewilder, to cheat. Sura dvesham means those who are against the demigods. So the word Sura dvesha referred to those who are envious of the demigods or devotees. Sometime an incarnation of Supreme Personal Godhead cheat the atheists. Like Buddha cheated, similarly, Mohini Murti cheated. Thus we see here that although Mohini Murti was speaking factually to the Asuras, the Asura took her words to be facetious. Indeed, they were so confident of Mohini Murti's honesty that they immediately delivered the container of the nectar into her hands, as if they would allow her to do with the nectar whatever she liked, whether she distributed it, threw it away, or drank it herself, without giving it to them. So Chakravarti Pada writes same thing mostly. They are passive but for us joking. They left in such a way that their intention could not be understood by unintelligent. Bhav Gambhiram. They left in such a way that their intention could not be understood by the unintelligent. They thought as follows: O woman with all qualities, are you testing us? We are not faithless and impure in heart. Take the part of nectar, divide it and give it to us, or drink it, or throw it. Some where else. Do as you please. Know that we have become yours because of your good qualities. So this is the mood of the, when they left, this is the way, this is what their intention was. They were thinking like that. Verse 12. Thereafter the Supreme Person of Godhead, having taken possession of the content of the nectar, smiled slightly and spoke in attractive words. She said, my dear demons, if you accept whatever I may do, whether honest or dishonest, sadhu or asadhu, then I can take responsibility for dividing the nectar among you. Srila Prabhupada writes, the personality of Godhead cannot abide by anyone's dictations. What it means? He is independent. Whatever he does is absolute. Demons, of course, were deluded by the illusory potency of Supreme Person of Godhead, and thus Mohini Murti got them to promise that whatever she would do, they would accept. If you accept what I do, whether it is right or wrong, sadasat, I will divide the nectar. I know my own ignorance. I know my own ignorance. That is why I say this. When you will say, I don't know, I may do something wrong. So first I am telling you. If you agree, then I can do like that. Right or wrong, sadhu asadhava. Verse 13. The chief of the demons were not very expert in deciding things. Upon hearing sweet words of Mohini Murti, they immediately assented. Yes, they answered. What you have said is all right. Thus the demon agreed to accept her decision. Next verse, verse 15 and 14 and 15. Atho posya, atho upasya. Upasya means fasting. Atha means after that. Krita snana, they took bath. Hutva, they did the fire sacrifice and offered oblation. Cha havishan analam, havisha analam. Analam means in a fire, havisha means oblation. Datva go vipraha bhutebhya. Then they gave charity to feed cows. They gave something to the brahmanas and to the common people. Kirta swasti ayanam dejaha. And then they chanted the hymns for auspiciousness. Yatho upajoshanam vasansi. Then they changed clothes. Paridhaya tanite kuseshu. Then they were sitting on the asana with a kush grass. Pravisham sarve praga agarbha. And the point of the kush grass was towards east. The demigods and demon then observed fast, upvas. After bathing, they offered clarified butter and oblation into the fire and gave charity to the cows and to the Brahmins and the members of the other orders of the society, namely Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Sudras, who were all rewarded as they deserved. Thereafter, the demigods and demons performed ritualistic ceremonies under the direction of Brahmana. Vipresvastiyanam. Then they dressed themselves with a new garment according to their own choice, decorated their bodies with ornaments, and sat facing east on seat made of kush grass. The seat made of kush grass with tips facing east. Kusheshu Prag Agreshu. Prag Agreshu means facing east. If any name you remember, when you are hearing this word of seat of kush grass with points facing to east.
Ritu Maharaj?
Prithu Maharaj, okay. I think because of his doing sacrifice and his name is according to the sacrifice. And his kush grass covered the whole earth if you spray down. And the word east is in his name. And east in Sanskrit is called Prachi. And you have completed that. You have completed that canto.
Prachina Bhahisha?
Pratinabari.
Huh?
Pratinabari.
Prachina Barahit. Prachina Barahit, the father of Prachetas. Prachi means eat, Barahit means one who has performed yajna. And if you remember there it says, he performed so many yajna that if you spread the kush grass facing east, then the whole earth can be covered. Is it coming? Now you can remember? It's called Barahist or Prachin Barahit. Almost 5 chapters describe this Prachin Barahit. And what allegory is there? Spoken by Narad?
Puranjana.
Puranjan allegory. And his son Pracheta were instructed by in some song.
Rudra Gita.
Rudra Gita. And the 10 Prachetas married one girl provided by moon god. And they had only one son from the 10 Prachetas. What is the name of that son? Son of Pracheta. Daksha, right.
Daksha.
The second birth of Daksh from Brahman to Kshatri, right. And a very famous verse, instruction to the Pracheta by Devrishi Narad, which is often quoted every times. And similar verse we have discussed in one of our chapters in this section.
Watering the root?
Watering
the root of the tree?
Yeah, exactly. That is the famous verse in that section. And similar verse we have discussed in this, I think, first chapter, so in our section, chapters 5 or 6, I think. Right? So one word will remind you the whole pastime or some other episode. This is the way you can speak on these verses. If one verse you have to speak in a class, then only you take the one word, kush, grass, then you can just give some example. That way you will be satisfied that you are understanding, and people will also relate with that what you are saying is authentic in the scripture, and like that. Is okay? Srila Prabhupada, the Vedas enjoin that for every ritual ceremony, one must first become clean by bathing either in the water of Ganges or Yamuna or in sea. Then one may perform ritual ceremony and offer khalifa butter in the fire. In this verse, the word paridhan ahatani are especially significant. Sannyasi or a person about to perform ritual ceremony should not dress himself in clothing sewn with needles. So this word paridhana ahatani means as devotees go in the deity room, they never wear the cloth which are stitched. Yeah, two cloth, one lower cloth and one upper cloth, like two chadars, dhoti and chadar, which is not stitched. So paridhan ahatani means unstitched cloth. That's what. And the
Okay,
one,
what is the reason behind it, bro?
the sannyasi or a person about to perform. Sannyasi always has only two cloth, upper and lower cloth with kopan. That is what his whole dress is. In a Vedic system, sadhus never wear stitched cloths. This is what is the reason I don't know exactly. But I remember I know many sadhus, even in our Ayandra Prabhu never used stitched cloth. As far as for years we lived together, even in the winter of the Vrindavan, he never ever used stitched cloth. He used to have some warm rug on his upper part and dhoti down. That's a sadhu. Either they shave hair every month or they don't shave at all. And they wear this type of cloth. Still many sadhus are doing that. Which actually means that as far as I guess is a sign of renunciation and detachment. There's no pocket to collect anything or to keep with oneself anything, just depending upon nature and mercy of the God.
Also, the idea of Prabhu, the idea of not performing work, like not lighting fire, which also you can extend it to think that not doing any work for their own maintenance. So not having to go and get stitched, just whatever piece of clothes you get, you cover. Just like whatever you get, you eat. Yeah.
One thing, most of the time I used to preach that the dress dhoti and sari, dhoti for male and sari for female is not like a Hindu dress code. It is a spiritual dress code without pocket, giving a message of not going to carry anything with you. Just cover your necessary part of the body and continue your sadhana for perfection. So there's no pocket in dhoti, there's no pocket in sari, and when the devotee go to worship the deities, they don't have any cloth with pocket, and the last person going after the death, the coffin has no pocket either. So this dress is actually a symbol of detachment, living in this world with full detachment, not accumulating, hoarding or or greedy mentality. So anyway, so paridhan ahatani. They fasted before drinking nectar, which was an auspicious act. They did this after quarreling, seeing Mohini and then discussing with her. They then took bath. According to their liking, they put on new ahatani cloth. Ahat means cloth fresh from the loom, which means not stitched. So ahata means a cloth fresh from loom. It means not stitched. This is best for all auspicious occasion. They sat on the kush with the tip facing east. Verse number 16 and 17. O king, as the demigods and demons sat facing east in an arena fully decorated with flower garlands and lamps and fragrant with smoke of incense, That woman dressed in the most beautiful sari, her ankle bell tinkling, entering the arena, walking very slowly because of her big, low hips. Her eyes were restless due to youthful pride. Her breasts were like war jugs, her thighs resembling the trunks of elephant, and she carried a water pot in her hand. Instead of, okay, this is one word. Instead of ushit, another verse is lasat. According to Amarkos, the word karabha. Karabha means length from the wrist to the little finger. It's called karabha. What is karabha? Karabho baheriti amarha. Verse number 18. Her attractive nose and cheeks and her ears adorned with golden earrings made her face very beautiful. As she moved, her sari bar on her breast moved slightly aside. When the demigods and demons saw these beautiful features, Mohini Murti, who was glancing at them and slightly smiling, they were all completely enchanted. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks here that Mohini Murti is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in feminine form, and that the goddess of fortune is her associate. This form assumed by the Personality of Godhead challenged the goddess of fortune. The goddess of fortune is beautiful, but if the Lord accepts the form of a woman, he surpassed the goddess of fortune in beauty. It's not that the goddess of fortune, being female, is the most beautiful. Lord is so beautiful that he can excel any beautiful goddess of fortune by assuming female form. Though the Lord is the friend of Lakshmi, he becomes her female friend. Though Narayan is most beautiful among males, you, Lakshmi, should not become proud and think that you are the most beautiful among women. I, the Supreme Lord, am also the most beautiful among women. To prove this to Lakshmi, he showed this form. She had golden earrings and beautiful nose. What do you think about this purport? Asuram Sudhadanam Sarpanam Iva Duranyam Matva Jati Nirsham Sanam Natam Abhyachat Achuttaha. Demons are by nature crooked like snakes, Sarpanam. Therefore, to distribute a share of the nectar to them was not at all feasible. Never feed a milk to a snake. So that is the principle. Since this would be as dangerous as supplying milk to a snake. Little nectar to the demons is dangerous. Considering this, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who never falls down, Achyuta, did not deliver a share of nectar to demons. Prabhupada's purport. It is said, Sarapaha Kururaha Khalaha Kururaha Sarapat Kururatraha Khalaha. Snake is very crooked and envious, and so also is a person like demon. Mantra Aushadi Vashas Sarapaha Khalha Kena Nivaryate. This is Prabhupada has already given many times analogy. One can bring a snake under control with mantra, herbs and drugs. But an envious and crooked person cannot be brought under control by any means. Considering this logic, the Supreme Personality of Godhead thought it unwise to distribute nectar to the demons. The demons had instructed Mohini to divide the nectar justly. Not giving the nectar to them was the best justice. It's okay? Why it is the best justice? Somebody can answer? Why it is the best justice?
But they were envious.
The best justice because they are envious, but what is the principle applied? Giving milk to the snake is a principle. Nobody feeds milk to a snake. That is the principle. I have to take a little break, my health wise. Is it okay? You don't mind? You can discuss.
Totally.
You can discuss yourself something about this, and then I'll join. Oh Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Trita Krishna Das Das. Why we have to sit facing east while we are performing ritualistic ceremony?
Well, first, it's considered to be the most auspicious. And but when we have deities, then whichever way the deity faces, then we have to sit according to that, and we consider where the deity is facing to be east. So in ritualistic principles, I think they do that because it's considered the most auspicious. So the negative forces always come from the south and the west. So you give your back to the south or the west. So I think someone else can contribute.
I think that's what I know also. When we do any puja, any worship, we face east. Basically, you can look toward the sun in a way. It's easy to remember. And ideally, the deity is looking, in the direction of the sun. So it's looking west. That's the ideal situation, but many times that's not possible. So the deity could be from north looking south also, then you look north.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you.
But we should not ever worship looking south, right?
I mean, as you just said, Prabhuji, a deity can be any direction, is all over. You look at the deity, but normally when temples are made, like when the temple we are making in Sacramento, we had the option of east or north. When east was difficult, it was not the best location as far as the arrangement of the property was concerned. So we are laying out so that the deity looks south, and we look at the deity facing, and we look north.
Yeah. We look north.
In the same manner,
Yes.
in sleep, it is recommended that we put our head either on east, feet to the south, and then on the other hand, but it's recommended we put our head on the south, legs facing east.
Yes. Yeah. But only we put someone when they are dead, we can actually lay them with the head facing north.
I mean, somebody say that the magnetic,
Yes, energy forces.
Forces from north to south. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting point that Prabhuji said about using unsewed clothes, and then another was about not having pockets. Not having pocket. Now these days, we make sure our kurta is a pocket so that we can carry stuff in it.
Yes, Prabhu, nowadays dress is full of pockets.
Full of pockets, yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I also have a question. Yesterday, in the previous chapter, 22nd verse, Bali Maharaj is a Mahajan, but he is given as an example for inauspiciousness. So, how to understand that? 22.
Yeah, I knew that I was going to ask the question. Because Vamanadev goes and he becomes like the security person for his Sutalolo. So obviously inauspicious. It's
I was about to ask this, but by seeing Prabhuji's health condition yesterday, I just avoided because he was coughing so much yesterday. Couldn't ask. And
I'm not sure what's it.
We have Das Prabhu, he can also give answer.
Yesterday class I missed from Mataji's, so I know. Just the loss of
I
mistake.
think in terms of classification, when you see how you offer honor, then I think, from that point of view, you first offer to the sannyasis and the brahmanas and so on and so forth. So according to maybe also varna and whether they are asuras and asuras. So from that angle, there is a certain sort of protocol that you follow. But to say that he was inauspicious was a little bit harsh, I think. I couldn't understand it. Not because if he's coming from that clan, because that's what it says, because it's from the asura sort of lineage. But then Prahlad Maharaj is also coming from the asura lineage, and he is a Mahabhagavad.
But Prahlad Maharaj was not given as an example for inauspiciousness.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
And I can't remember the verse number, but there is one place in the previous chapters. In the translation, it comes, there are two religious principles. One is truth and one is truthfulness. That point also I couldn't understand. What is the difference? Truth and truthfulness.
Where was that? The thing about Bali Maharaj also, I thought also in the 5th canto, the last part of the last chapter of 5th canto, where Lord Vamanadev, when he defeated Bali, he actually tied him up and threw him in a cave. And then Bali Maharaj was, then instead of being upset or angry, he was praising the devotional service of the Lord, and he said how Sukracharya had no education and Indra also acting very foolishly, being attached to wealth and so on and so forth. But you feel like, Vamanadev was acting in a very, seemingly in a harsh way to him. But Nrsimhadev wasn't acting like that to Prahlad Maharaj. So, anyone wants to comment and help us understand?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
A couple of questions have come up here.
Yeah, what is this?
Leela Madhuri Mataji, could you bring up the question?
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, my question was, Bali Maharaj is a Mahajan, but we have got his name for inauspiciousness yesterday. So how to understand that? How come your Mahajan can be considered as an inauspicious thing?
People are very charitable, but they have some inauspicious part in their life. So, what the answer came by your discussion? What is the answer?
I think the inauspiciousness was that he was coming from the Asura clan, so therefore it naturally brings a sort of an atmosphere of inauspiciousness. But then we were discussing and said Prahlad Maharaj was the same, but he wasn't castigated like that.
The inauspiciousness in Bali Maharaj's character is encroaching on the heavenly planet, which is not his jurisdiction. And still God tolerated because he is descendant of Prahlad Maharaj. He has taken law in his own hand, and he has what is called, his action was inauspicious because it is against the God's will, that he cannot rule the heaven, which he wanted to rule without justified qualification. And therefore the Bhrigu Brahman will tell him, we will make you justified by performing 100 hours sacrifice, then you will be qualified for that. So unqualified person approaching a place which doesn't belong to him is an inauspicious act of Bali Maharaj. Is it okay?
Very nice.
Yes, very good, Ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So one more question in 7th chapter, 25th verse. In the translation, it is given that your eternal time, determination, and the two religious systems called truth, satya, and truthfulness, rita. So my question is, what is the meaning of, or what is the difference between this satya and rita, truth and truthfulness?
Satya, Rita. There are two words, Satya and Rita, and which Chakravarti Prabhupada has written two religious principles, right? Prabhupada's purpose says two religious principles.
Yes.
Satya and Ritya. See, the word Rita, the one Satya of religious principle is like we have four religious principles: Satya, which is truthfulness, austerity, purity. This is one of the pillar of the Dharma, right? These four pillars of the Dharma, you remember?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Rita is one who gives words and abide by his words is called Rita. Rita, Satyam Ritam. It means God always fulfills his words. Or any religious principle in which you give words, you have to fulfill your promise. And this Ritam part is in the Bali Maharaj's character. He gave promise to give 3 feet donation to the Vaman Dev, and then he kept his promise. That's called Ritam. Satyavratam, Satyaritam. So Rit word in Sanskrit, you see the meaning of Rita, which is also truthfulness, but truthfulness to his promise. And the first Satya is the principle of religion. So this is one of the Sadharma in this 8th canto. Always keep your promise, never break it. That is Rita, the principle of Dharma.
But the Lord doesn't come under any conditions, no, sir. Why he has to keep up his works?
Like Prahlad was not ambitious for any post. Bali Maharaj was ambitious for some post. Bali Maharaj still wants to be the Indra, and which he is going to be in the next Manvantara. But Prahlad Maharaj is centrally devouring a acharya for Nauda Bhakti. And Bali Maharaj is also example of ninth type of bhakti, Atma Nivedana. Bali is a Mahajan also, but still there's an inauspicious aspect in his life. While Prahlad's life is all pure, no ambition. He said, I don't want to ask anything from you. No benediction, I don't want any benediction. And because of Prahlad, as a forefather, Bali was actually excused by Supreme Lord, though he has done so many wrongs.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, are you saying, sort of, if you can confirm, that therefore in the 6th Manvantara, the Dharma established is how to keep truthfulness to one's promise, Satyaritam?
Yeah, Dharma has a truthfulness as a principle. And Ritam is a personal thing. Somebody, when promise, he should carry that out, is also the individual dharma and the general dharma, something like also can be classified. But still you can, there's nothing in the purport for that, these two words. Even Chakravarti Pada has not discussed anything on this. What you are saying is, Krishna. Was chapter 7? Yes. Then
25.
Edit. Find.
25. 7.25.
7 point.
Truthfully.
25.
Sorry, it's 8.
25.
It should be
8, 7.25.
8.7.25. I'm not getting this. 8.7.25. Nine 20 is with me. Eight. 7.25. Reader has finished searching the no. Seven two.
Vishwanath Chakravarti
Yeah.
sort of means Rikam to be pleasing words.
Pleasing words.
Yeah.
So then
Because at Kala Kratu Satyam Rikam Cha Dharmas. So it says time, Kratu determination, Satyam truth, and then Rikam will become pleasing words, and then Dharma.
pleasing words rhythm. And
Yeah.
Prabhupada said this is also a second type of religion. Pleasing words. Which words are pleasing words? That the promise you fulfill are the pleasing words. What you say you abide by that. What you say you abide by that is a pleasing. So, I mean, my knowledge from the word rhythm goes that It's sort of Satyavratam, Satyam, Traikala Sittam, Satyaritam. Now, when I'm saying this, you go to the verse 10 to maybe 23, I know. Yeah, 23, something like that. Can you find that? There's a word Ritam there.
Satyavratam Satyaparam Trisatyam.
Then?
That.
Yeah, then?
2:26.
Is there Ritam there?
In 23 now, Guna Maya Swa Vyakshaya Sarvastiti.
No, maybe 26, maybe 26.
26 Prabhuji, 10 to 26.
Yeah, what is that? Satyavratam, Satyam, Traisityam, Satyaritam. Is there word Ritam there also? In this verse? No.
Yes, Prabhuji, Satyasya Satyam Rita Satya Netram.
Yeah, Satya, Rit, Satya. What is the meaning word to word Rit for that Rit?
He is the origin of whatever truth is pleasing.
Say again.
He is the origin of whatever truth is pleasing.
Whatever truth is pleasing. And which truth is pleasing? You abide by your promise. You abide by your promise. That's what I'm saying. Same word pleasing is here, same word pleasing there. So the word Ritam you find at two places now. And the meaning is pleasing, and pleasing is that what you promise you fulfill. This is my understanding for the Ritya. This is because this is one of the Dharma of 8th canto, Ritam. We'll find also Ritam somewhere. If we find, we will discuss. Satyam Ritam, Kalam Satyam Ritam.
So I found Satyam Ritam in 11th canto, chapter 19 also, verse 28.
What it says?
It says, Kim Satyam Ritam.
Kim Satyam Ritam.
Kim Satyam Ritam Uchyate.
Kim Satyam Ritam. What is called Satyam and Ritam? Okay, and what is the answer?
So, how are reality and truth to be described?
Oh, Satyam and Ritam.
No,
So
yeah.
Ritam is reality, huh?
The meaning is Satyam is reality, correct, and Ritam is truth.
Okay. And what is the context? Is there some purport there?
Satyam is reality.
Uddhav said, this is to Uddhav. Uddhav is saying, asking, my dear Lord, who chastises the vanity, please tell me how many types of discipline, regulations and regulative daily duties are there. Also, my Lord, tell me what is mental equilibrium, what is self-control, what is the meaning of tolerance and steadfastness, what are charity, austerity, and heroism, and then now this is and how are reality and truth to be described?
So Satyam and Ritam are the two things, reality and truthfulness.
Yeah, reality and truth. Yes.
So here pleasing is reality, right? Ritam is reality. Or
Satyam
religion.
is reality, yeah, Ritam is truth.
Satyam is reality.
Okay, Ritam is reality. Ritam is truthfulness, right?
Is truthfulness, yeah.
Okay. Is that
Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji, 10:14 also this word comes. Satyam etad ritam manne.
Oh, Satam etad Ritam manne. It means whatever you say is truth, and I accept that truth. It is a real. It is a reality.
All. Sarvam evam ritam manne. Sarvam, all is
Truth, all is truthful. All is truthful. All is truthful, right? So Srila Prabhupada has written word truthful, and truthful is pleasing. So now we have coupled Ritam, and is also one principle of religion, Prabhupada said. So Satyam is also religion, and Ritam is also religion.
There is a slight difference, Prabhu, in philosophy when we discuss about it in Vedas. Then Satyam is truth, we understand that, but Ritam is about the material nature, like the sun, the moon, everything has its own existence in a prefixed manner. There is no change happening in them. So when we talk about this nature's principles, so we call it as Ritam. But when we call it in relation to human being or in relation to the soul, then we use the word truth. The Supreme Personality. What they call in philosophy or in Vedic verses in Vedic shlokas, mantras, that this rit refers to the natural order, which is always perfect, which is always going on as per the predestined way of things. So this is how they refer rit there in Vedic literature.
Rit book, mit book, with book. This is also in Ayurveda. Rit book, mit book.
That rit is ritu.
Not
ritu book means that
one is
as per
ritu.
the season.
One is what is earned by truthfulness, honest earning, things used by honest earning. Mit means enough.
Mit means less.
Enough. What is necessary?
Very conservative, yeah, necessary.
Yeah, mit and hit, which is benefit. Here, rit means which is earned honestly. So that is a religious principle, to be honest. Here the word rit means honest. So now again coming to the conclusion, rit is a truthfulness from a different angles, which is pleasing, which is fixed, and which is also a promise always kept, never violated, is the aspect of Dharma called Rit Dharma. More can be discussed. Something else we discuss in the meantime? Satyam Ritam. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita. Whatever you said is all I accept as truth. Verse number 20. Kalpyaitva prathak panktai obhayesham jagatpatihi tanschopaveshamasa sweshu cha panktishu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Mohini Murti, Master of the Universe, arranged separate lines of sitting places and seated the demigods and demons according to their position. They were assigned to rows according to their who would get the nectar. Verse 21. Taking the content of the nectar in her hands, she first approached demons, satisfied them with sweet words, and thus cheated them of their share of nectar. Then she administered the nectar to the demigods, who were sitting in a distant place, to make them free from invalidity, old age, and death. 3 benefits of drinking nectar: free from invalidity, old age, and death for a long time. So, what she told to the demons, Mohini Murti, the personality of Godhead, gave the demigods seat at a distance. Then she approached the demons and spoke with them very graciously, so that they thought themselves very fortunate to talk with her. The Mohini Murti had seated the demigods as a distant place. The demon thought that the demigods would get only a little of the nectar, and that Mohini Murti was so pleased with the demons that she would give the demons all the nectar. The word Vanchyam Upasanchariha indicate that the Lord's whole policy was to cheat the demons simply by speaking sweet words. Vachan means words. Upasanchari, pleasing. By speaking sweet words, Upasanchari. The Lord's intention was to distribute the nectar only to the demigods. Chakravarti Pad writes, She cheated them by slowly moving close to them while moving her cloth ornament ankle belt covering her face, smiling shyly and moving her eyebrows. They thought she would give a little to the devatas to satisfy them and give most to the demons. And she said like that, "Oh, you are very magnanimous. You don't mind if I can give little to these greedy demigods, and the rest I will make you to drink. So just wait for a while." She said like this to the demons. This is how she cheated. They concluded in their mind, "We are now drinking nectar with our ears, eyes and mind by seeing her. The nectar from the milk ocean cannot be more than this. What is the use of the nectar? We desire simply to please her." She then gave nectar to the demigods who were seated far away, far off. Verse 22. King says the demon had promised to accept whatever woman did, whether just or unjust. Now, to keep this promise, to show their equilibrium and save themselves from fighting with the woman, they remained silent. They had agreed to let her divide the nectar as she liked, without protesting. They disliked quarreling with the woman. Last verse of this section. Tasyam kritati paranyaha paranyapayah kataraha bahumanena chabadha mochuho kinchana vipriyam. The demon had developed affection for Mohini Murti and a kind of faith in her, and they were afraid of disturbing their relationship. Therefore, they showed respect and honor to her words and did not say anything that might disturb their friendship with her. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The demons were so captivated by the tricks and friendly words of the Mohini Murti that although the demigods were served first, the demons were pacified merely by sweet words. The Lord said to the demons, "The demigods are very miserly and are excessively anxious to take the nectar first. So let them have it first. Since you are not like them, you can wait a little longer. You are all heroes and are so pleased with me. It is better for you to wait until after demigods drink." This is what she said. Prabhupada is now revealing the mind of the words of Mohini Murti. They were restrained because of great respect for her. Since she said, "Let these weak devatas drink a little. You strong heroes wait a moment." They said nothing at all to displease her for these 6 reasons. What are the 6 reasons? Starting with keeping the agreement, they remained silent. What are the 6 reasons? For these 6 reasons. So, what are the 6 reasons? In a couple of verses, there are 6 reasons.
I can see only 4.
What are the 4?
So, to keep the promise, to show the equilibrium, to save themselves from fighting with the woman, and to not to disturb their relationship.
Okay. Somebody else fill the list of 6. Demigods are weak and miserly. Number 1. Number 2, you are heroes. Number 3. What is the 6th reason? They said nothing at all.
They have developed affection. They have developed affection, attraction.
Affection, now not wanting to break relationship for these 6 reasons. So, is there some reasons here? They were restrained because of great respect, number 1. Number 2, the demigods are weak. Number 3, you are heroes. And then they want to keep relation, they don't want to displease her. And some other reason? Because of great attachment to her, fear of losing her friendship. Great attachment, fearing of losing her friendship. Because of great respect for her, 3. And the other are in this verse. You are heroes, they are weak. Okay? Something. You fill 4, 5, 6. Now the 24 to 29, so in these 5, 6 verses, Rahu loses his head. Deva linga pratichannaha swarha bhanoh deva sangsadi praveshtaha somam adhbhut Chandra arakadhyam chaha suchittaha. Rahu, the demon, who causes eclipse of sun and moon, covered himself with the dress of demigods and thus entered the assembly of demigods and drank nectar without being detected by anyone, even by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The moon and the sun, however, because of permanent animosity towards Rahu, understood the situation, thus Rahu was detected. Rahu, having disguised himself in the dress of Devatas, entered the assembly of Devatas and drank nectar. The sun and moon Devatas recognized that he was a demon. Prabhupada's purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Mohini Murti was able to bewilder all the demons, but Rahu was so clever that he was not bewildered. Rahu could understand that Mohini Murti was cheating demons, and therefore he changed his dress, disguised himself as demigod, and sat down in the assembly of demigods. Here one may ask why the Supreme Personality of Godhead could not detect Rahu. The reason is that the Lord wanted to show the effect of drinking nectar. This will be revealed in following verses. The moon and sun, however, were always alert in regard to Rahu. Thus, when Rahu entered the assembly of the demigods, the moon and sun immediately detected him. And then the Supreme Personality of Godhead also became aware of him. Chakravarti Pada writes, all the demons were bewildered and cheated by Mohini, but Rahu was not bewildered in order to broadcast the glory of the nectar by making his head immortal. He immediately understood the intention of Mohini and entered the line of Devatas. At first, the Devatas could not recognize him. The sun and moon, however, recognized him when he sat down. Because they feared him, they could not say, sit in another row. But when he got the nectar and drank it, they raised their brows to indicate This is demon. Verse 25. Chakrena ksauradharena, a sharp edge chakra. So this Jahara pibattasraha, cut his head. Haristasyaha kabandhasto Suddhaya palavito patat. Supreme Person of Godhead Hari, using his disc, which was sharp like a razor, at once cut Rahu's head. When Rahu's head was severed from the body being untouched by the nectar could not survive. So nectar was only reached up till neck. When the Person of Godhead Mohini Murti severed the Rahu's head from the body, the head remained alive although the body died. Rahu had Rahu had been drinking nectar through his mouth. Before the nectar entered the body, his head was cut off. Thus Rahu's dead head remained alive whereas the body died. This wonderful act performed by the Lord was meant to show that nectar is miraculous ambrosia. From the Ajit, not Mohini. Now see, Mohini is not cut. Chakravarti Pad says, Harir Ajit Rupi Shro Jahar A Ishat Palavitaha. The form of Ajit, not Mohini, cut his head. The body, not completely indented with nectar, fell down. How Ajit cut? How not Mohini Murti? The form of Ajit, not Mohini, cut off the head. Kabandho apatad iti ketastu. That body become ketastu. Chaya graha. That these are the planet which cover the sun and moon. Eva nato kabandha rupaha iti abhipriyaha. This is Jiva Goswami. I am not Sanskrit scholar. Somebody should translate this and put it. Rahu's head, however, having been touched by the nectar, became immortal. Thus the Lord Brahma accepted Rahu's head as one of the planet. Since Rahu is an eternal enemy of the moon and sun, he always tries to attack them on the nights of the full moon and dark moon. Since Rahu had become immortal, the Brahma accepted him as one of the graha, or planet like the moon and sun. Rahu, however, being an eternal enemy of the moon and sun, attacks them periodically during the nights of the full moon and dark moon. The head becomes free of death by drinking nectar. The effect of nectar is shown. Brahma made the head into a planet like the sun and moon. Verse 27. Supreme Personality of Godhead is the best friend and well-wisher of three worlds. Thus, when the demigods had almost finished drinking the nectar, the Lord, in the presence of all the demons, disclosed his original form. When the devatas had almost finished drinking the nectar, the Lord, the maintainer of the world, Loka Bhavanaha, disclosed his form, Som Rupam Jugre, to the chief of the demons, Pashyatam Asurendranam. Verse 28. The place, the time and cause. Now this is why there is a different result. Both have done the same thing. Both have endeavored equally. Both have worked together, same thing, same place, same time, but the result is different. Why? The place, the milk ocean. Time, churning of the milk ocean. Cause and purpose is to get the nectar. Activity, both acted for that. Ambition, both has ambition to get nectar, were all the same for both demigods and demons. But the demigods achieve one result and the demons another. Because the demigods are always under the shelter of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord, Lord's lotus feet, They could very easily drink the nectar and get its result. The demons, however, not having sought shelter at the Lord's feet of Lord, were unable to achieve the result they desired. This is the principle. Though the place, time, cause, material, activity and determination were the same, samadesha kala hetu artha karma matyo api. For both the devatas and the demons, sura asura ganaha, there were different results, phale viklapaha. Because the devatas, yata sura ganaha, took shelter of dust to the Lord's feet, pada pankaj rajah Sharan. They could very easily drink the nectar, amritam phalam anjasa apo. The demons, however, not having taken shelter of the Lord's feet of Lord, did not obtain the nectar, not daityaha. Bhagavad Gita 4:11 ye yathamam prapadyante. So, different person according to their surrender unto Lord's feet. Therefore, it can easily be seen that although karmis and bhakta may work in the same place at the same time with the same energy and with the same ambition, they achieve different results. Karmis transmigrate from the different bodies in a cycle of birth and death, sometimes going upward and sometimes going down, thus suffering the result of their actions in the karma chakra, the cycle of birth and death. The devotees, however, because of fully surrendering the Lord's feet of Lord, are never befell in their attempts, although externally they work almost like the karmis. The devotees go back home, back to Godhead, and achieve success in every effort. The demons are atheists, have faith in their own endeavor. But although they work very hard day and night, they cannot get any more than their destiny according to the karma. The devotees, however, my screen gone. Somebody can read?
Yes, Prabhuji. The devotees, however, can surpass the reaction of karma and achieve wonderful results even without effort. It is also said, Phalena parichichiyate. One success or defeat in any activity is understood by its result. There are many karmis in the dress of devotees, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead can detect their purpose. The karmis want to use the property of the Lord for this selfish sense gratification, but a devotee endeavors to use the Lord's property for God's service. I cannot see anything. I see. This is regular purport, right?
Okay, finish. So karmis want to use
reading. Yeah.
Okay.
I
have opened it.
Therefore,
I opened
Therefore, a devotee is always distinct from the karmis, although the karmis may dress like devotees, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 3.9. Yagna adhbhut karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhane. One who works for the Lord Vishnu is free from this material world, and after giving up this body, goes back home, back to God. A karmi, however, although externally working like a devotee, is enhanced in his non-devotional activity. And move up, Prabhuji, move up. You cannot see, right?
So, phalena parichyate. Phalena parichyate means by result, everybody is identified by his result. One success or defeat in activity is understood by its result. There are many karmis in the dress of devotee, like the Rahu sitting in the demigods. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead can detect their purpose. Karmis want to use the property of Lord for their selfish sense gratification. But a devotee endeavors to use the Lord's property for God's service. Therefore, devotee is always distinct from the karmis, although karmis may dress like devotees, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Yagyanartha karma, okay? A karmi, however, although externally working like a devotee, is entangled in his non-devotional activity and thus be suffering the tribulation of material existence. Thus, from the result achieved by karmis and devotees, one can understand the presence of Supreme Personal Godhead, who acts differently for the karmis and gyanis than for the devotees. The author of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita has given Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ateva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Karmi Sakal Ashanta. Okay? The karmis who desire sense graduation, the jnanis who aspire for liberation, merging in the existence of the Supreme, and the yogis who seek material success and mystic power are all restless and ultimately they are befelt. But the devotees who does not expect personal benefit and whose only ambition is to spread the glories of Supreme Personal Godhead is blessed with all auspicious result of Bhakti Yoga without hard labor. So, how can you present this verse in a present context of the devotees and the people working, and how there's a difference in the result? Because the result cannot be seen. After death, one goes and take birth again and one goes back to God. Nobody knows this. So people say, how can you prove this? Anybody? Hare Krishna.
For example, sorry.
How can you prove this statement? Same place, same endeavor, same purpose, same motive, but the results are different. And the reason is, one is taking shelter of the lotus feet of Lord, and other is only considering his efforts independent of mercy of the Lord. And therefore results are different. How practical?
One of these very pastime.
This very pastime.
This very
yes.
pastime is proving.
Okay.
It's proving it. Because they were in the same, doing same activity, same purpose, same time, everything, and same effort. But one was getting the result of getting the nectar, the others are completely cheated by the Lord.
So the question is,
So in the modern time also, devotees may look like they are like normal persons, but if they are devotees of Krishna, and whatever they may be doing, they will get a different result to other people, maybe working in the same company, same atmosphere, same business, same thing. They'll get a different result because the devotee is offering everything for the pleasure of Krishna.
So the point here is what you do with the result
yes,
changes the effect of your karma.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what fruitive activity is then. Fruitive activity is karma, when I am doing karma and enjoying the fruits of my sense gratification. But when I take the results, offer it to the Lord, then I am liberated. So here these devatas, because they are going to offer all the glories to the Lord all the time, so the same effort is giving them eternity. But the asuras are doing karma kand, basically.
I used to give one example on the udder of a mother cow. Yes, so somebody was saying something?
Yeah, Stuti Priya Radha Prabhuji.
Yes?
Yeah, I was just saying about, like, we were talking about the death. So Srila Prabhupada generally gives the example of a cat because the result for the two are different. So here we see that the cat carrying the kitten and carrying the mouse. So that example can be given here.
This example is not appropriate in this situation. There is two types of surrender. One minute. You are right. The death for the karmi is like a mouse in the mouth of cat, and death for the devotees is like a kitten in the mouth of cat, right? This is what you
Yes,
are.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, that's what.
this is good example. A good example. I was speaking on the udder of the mother cow, same place the calf can extract milk, and there is a blood sucker sitting there and only getting blood from there. So Prabhupada has already given one example that the same cow is with you, but the devotees, they take the milk and make nice preparation and offer to the Krishna, while the same cow is with the demons, they never use that and they can just take the flesh and enjoy themselves. So the thing is same, but the activity is completely, their mentality is completely different, and therefore one will go to the hell and other will be enjoying in Golok. Some other thing, both are working together, as somebody said, in a workplace, both are getting same salary. One is enjoying oneself and one is donating the sum of the income in the service of the God. Yeah, this is many devotees are doing like that. Even in the early days of ISKCON, there was no fixed income. Some devotees used to work for 8 hours and get whatever salary. They were just running the temples. They were doing the same thing, but the result were completely different. Those who were giving to the temple, they become great saintly people. They were very much respected in the devotional circle, and they are eternally associated with Prabhupada and go back to God. And the others are also working, but they will get the different result. I think bottom line is the devotees endeavor and offer the results to the, and even offering the result is a nishkam karma yoga, it's not devotion. Devotees are working for the pleasure of Supreme Lord, while the demons are working for their personal sense gratification. One wants to please his own senses, one wants to please the senses of Krishna. They may be doing the same thing because their intention is different, therefore the results are different. Okay? The next is Chakravarti.
Another thing can be said is the devotees another thing that can be added on to this is
yes,
the result that both are getting is devotees offer to the Lord or serving the Lord, so they are getting return what they deserve. Deserve means they're getting this abhushan, the jewels of transcendental qualities, something that lasts long and gives them peacefulness, mental peace, and higher residence because they have served the Lord. But the demons, they have cashed out their results for gratifying their senses. I want to have a nice palace, this and that. So they cashed it out. So that's the result they got. So it's in a fair system.
Yes. I think early days book distributor, one of the book distributors, what is the Mahabudhi or somebody, he was so enthusiastic in selling books that some big businessman, he said, I can offer you so much salary if you can work for me. He said, no. By working for you, I will be morose. By working for Krishna and distributing books, I am jubilant. And he said, you don't have anything. He said, I don't have anything, but I have a happiness and blissfulness in my life that your money will never provide me. So devotees, though they don't have anything, but by their actions they are happy. The karmis, they may have everything, but because they have no peace of mind, so they are always in anxiety and they are always frustrated, though they have everything. Practically you can see. I give the example that our devotees living in the temple, they don't know what is the price of the utility things in the market, how much, what is the price of milk, ghee, they get everything. They get up early in the morning after Mangalarti, morning program, Bhagavatam class, they sit on the asan and they have 5-course meal. They don't know from where it is coming and how much it cost. They don't know anything and everything is provided. They don't know really what is the, I don't know yet. Today they are telling me, yesterday I wanted to give them something for prasad or something. I said, what is the rate? They said 300 saups, so many rupees per kilo. I said, my God, I used to buy, say, 50 paisa per kilo. Now it's 350 rupees per kilo. This is the difference I have seen in my life. So things have.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, one more example. This is appropriate, Prabhu. Jailer in the jail, Prabhu.
Sorry, say again.
Jailer in the jail. Although he's in the jail, but his motive is different.
Jail.
Oh.
Superintendent
of the jail.
Oh yeah, the prisoner and superintendent of jail, both they are in the same place, same thing, but one is getting punishment and one is getting salary, because one is serving and one is plundering. Yeah, it's good. Is there some purport by Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad on this verse? Somebody can read? I think I can scroll, but I think I don't know where I can go. I don't see anything. My screen is blank. Somebody can read anything written by Chakravarti Pad on this verse purport?
I can read, Prabhu.
No.
Okay, Mataji can go.
No, you can go ahead, Prabhuji.
No, you can read, man. You can read, man. Sure.
Okay. Though the place, time, cause, materials, the activity and the determination were the same, samadesha kala hetvartha karma matayo api, for both the devatas and the demons. Surasura ganarha. There were different results.
You are reading translation. You are reading translation which we have read. Is there something in purport?
No, Prabhuji.
Sure?
Yes.
Last verse of this chapter and of this section. Yada yujyate. Sorry?
No, okay.
Yada yujyate aso vaso karma mano vacho bhi deha atma jadishu nirbhistadasa prthaktva tair eva sadbhavanti yad kriyate apratiktva sarvasya tadbhavanti mula nishiche namamya. In the human society, there are various activities performed for the protection of one's wealth and life by one's work, one's mind, and one's action. But they are all performed for one's personal or extended sense gratification with reference to the body. All these activities are baffled because of being separate from devotional service. But when the same activities are performed for the satisfaction of the Lord, the beneficial results are distributed to everyone, just as water poured on the root of the tree is distributed throughout the entire tree. This is the third verse we have now with the same, example, root, watering the root, right? It is better somebody should put all these verses in line, chapter, say, Canto 4, chapter so and so, verse number this. Then Canto 8, chapter so and so, verse number this. So you put these verses together at some place. I think there is a one in a folio also, there is a one similar verses. Some option is there. Translate purport. This is the distinction between materialistic activities and activities performed in Krishna consciousness. Entire world is active. And this includes karmis, the jnanis, the yogis and bhaktas. However, all the activities except those of the bhakta, the devotees, the end is befellment and a waste of time and energy. Mogasha, moga karmano, moga gyaan vichetsa. If one is not a devotee, his hopes, his activities and his knowledge are all befouled. A non-devotee works for his personal sense gratification or for the sense gratification of his family, society, community or nation. But because all such activities are separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are considered asat. The word asat means bad or temporary, and sat means permanent and good. Activities performed for the satisfaction of Krishna are permanent and good. But asat activities, although sometimes celebrated as philanthropy, altruism, nationalism, this ism or that ism, will never produce any permanent result, and is therefore all bad. Even a little work done in Krishna consciousness is permanent asset, and all good because it is done for Krishna. The all good Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is everyone's friend, Sarvabhauma. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only enjoyer and proprietor of everything, Bhoktaram Jagatapasam, Sarvabhauma. Therefore, any activity performed for the Supreme Lord is permanent. As a result of such activity, the performers immediately recognize Natcha tasmat manushyesu kasyan me priyakritamaha. Such a devotee, because of a full knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is immediately transcendental, although he may superficially appear to be engaged in materialistic activities. The only distinction between the materialistic activity and the spiritual activity is that the material activity is performed only to satisfy one's own senses, whereas spiritual activity is meant to satisfy the transcendental senses of Supreme Personality of Godhead. By spiritual activity, everyone factually benefit, whereas by material activity, no one benefit, and instead one become entangled in the law of karma. Thus ends this chapter. Then next chapter we will start Krishna so desire one sometime tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Now Chakravarti Pad has some purport for this verse.
Yes, Prabhuji, sorry, there was the purport in previous verse also. I couldn't see that time.
Sorry?
There was a purport on previous verse also. Sorry, I couldn't see that time.
So you can I'm now, what I'm doing is,
should I read?
Yeah, read. I am connecting in my,
For previous verse,
yes.
though the material conditions were the same for both parties, the devotees achieved success and the demons did not. The moral of the story is here stated. The place was the same, the milk ocean. The time was the same at every moment for both parties. The means was the same, using Mandar mountain as the churning rod. The materials were the various herbs thrown in the ocean. The activity was churning the ocean. The determination was desire to attain nectar. But in attaining the result, there was alternatives, attaining nectar and not attaining nectar. Among them, the Devatas attained the result because they took shelter of the Lord's feet. The demons did not attain the result since they did not take shelter of the Lord's feet. The meaning of the incident is that everyone should serve the Lord.
Okay, and the purport for this verse?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
This verse gives the conclusion. Whatever is used for the body or sons by one's pran, wealth actions, mind, or words is temporary. Using the senses, mind, and will simply for the body is useless. Why? This is because it is separate, like watering the branches of a tree. Just as one thinks the branches are separate from the root and waters the branches instead of the root, the fool serves the body instead of serving the Lord. Using the pranas, will, and senses for the Lord is correct. Why? It is not separate from the Lord. It is like watering the root. Just as one waters the root, understanding that the branch is not separate from the root, so one serves the Lord. This service is actually service to all beings, from Brahma to non-moving beings, because this is watering the root.
Okay? Service is actually service to all beings, from the Brahma to the non-moving beings, because this is watering the root. Thus end the commentary, okay? So, any question or comment? I think last two verses is something not exactly describing the episode milk ocean, but the principles behind that. The two verses are the actually principle point behind that. Depending upon the motives, the people have a different result, and they are in two categories, are either devotees or non-devotees. And non-devotees can be karmi, gyani, yogi, anybody. But if he is not a devotee, the result is always different. And their activities are always befell, while the devotees' activities are always fruitful. So, we have finished chapter 9. I think we have together chapter 14. I think till 14 we have to go. 5 more chapters. Okay. Anybody has any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
In the verse, there's the word pitakva twice. And the second line and the third line.
Which word?
In the verse. The last verse we just did.
What is the word?
And we should pitak.
Pratak means separate. Pratak means separate.
Separate.
Yeah, pratak.
And in the translation of Vishwanath, he's actually putting emphasis on this. He's saying, utilizing one's prana, wealth, actions, mind, and words for maintaining one's body, sons and others, is not proper, since this endeavor is separate from the Lord. And again, he says, utilizing these same things for service to the Lord is proper, since this endeavor is not separate from the Lord. So he's anchoring it more on that. So like the demons, everything was for themselves. For the demigods, everything was for the Lord. So this is a service to all beings, since it is watering the root.
Whatever is used for the body or sons by one's prana, wealth, action, mind, or word is temporary. Using the sense, mind, wealth simply for the body is useless. Why? This is because it is separate, like the watering the branches of the tree. Just as one thinks of branches and separate from the root, the fool serves the body instead of serving the Lord. Using the prana, wealth, Lord is correct, sense for the correct. Why? It's separate from the Lord. It's like watering the root. Using the prana, wealth, and senses for Lord is correct. So two pratik has two different aspects. One for the temporary things, one for the permanent. So things are same, but the object is temporary or permanent. The worldly things are temporary and the Supreme Lord is permanent. So that which is permanent is watering the root and which is temporary is watering the branches. It's not separate from the Lord because our things are in the service of Lord. It's like watering the root. Okay?
Thank you, education.
Okay. Anybody else has to say something?
What is the use of drinking this nectar? Will they become immortal?
They become long-lived, not fatigued, and not. There are three things. We have just in one purpose. We saw the three things. Nectar will provide.
Invalidity.
No invalidity, no old age, no death. So demigods will stay for longer time, will not be invalid by when fighting with the demons, and they will not die. So they will be victorious and they will get back their heavenly planet and they will get back their opulence which they lost because of the curse of Durvasa Rishi.
It means, Prabhuji, they will never go to the lower.
No. This immortality means they live for a long time. It's not that they will live forever. This immortality means they live for a longer time than ordinary people. Okay?
Thank you.
Anybody else has some comment or something to say?
With your permission, can I make a small comment?
Yes.
Look at the end. It's not something that, I never thought about it like that.
What was
Because
said?
all these lila, the lila is so complex and so many things going on, but the outlook is a simple lesson.
Yeah,
But the outlook, the final result is quite amazing.
Yeah, the two verses are actually the lesson
Yes.
for the people from this past time. So, tomorrow we'll start 10th chapter, Krishna so desired. How after the Lord disappeared, the demon and Devata waged war, and how the Lord made his appearance when the Devatas were overpowered by demons Maya. So whole philosophy is, when everything is provided by Lord, but you don't say thank you to the Lord, then things won't work. Even nectar won't work. Nectar only work when you say thank you to the Lord and become grateful. Say thank you, then it works, otherwise it won't work. So this chapter we will discuss tomorrow. And then again, I think Lord Shiva, bewildered by Mohini Murti. There's a couple of chapters are like that. So I think this chapter will be also quick. 1 to 40 verses, battle between demigods and demons.
Recording stopped.
Okay, Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow. Vanchakal Patru Hesya Kripa Sindhu Veva Chapaditanam Pavana Vaishnava.